All right, it looks like we are live. Hey guys, I
Hello.
am Jesse, and I am here with Bethany from Beautifully Bookish Bethany.
Hello.
We're here to talk about Kill the Queen by Jennifer Estep, which was the Shelf Space Book Club pick for December. So we I know we both have some thoughts. But I'll let Bethany introduce herself for those of you that don't know
Oh,
her.
yes. Hi. So I'm Bethany from Beautifully Bookish Bethany. You can find me on YouTube and all the places, pretty much. I read a whole lot of books, a lot of sci-fi, fantasy, and romance, a little bit of everything else. And I have a podcast also about sci-fi, fantasy, and romance called Chapter 3 Podcast. So, yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we are going to kind of just jump right in and talk about our spoiler-free thoughts first, probably, on Kill the Queen, and
Okay.
then pretty quickly jump into spoilers because I know we got some. I've got wine. It's gonna be fun.
I have boozy sparkling water.
Ooh, that was good. We're ready.
Yes, we're ready for it.
So I think I liked it slightly more, but not too much more.
Yeah.
I ended up giving it 3 stars, and that
I
was
gave
generous.
I gave it 2 stars. I Okay, this is my feeling on this. I feel like this book is aggressively mediocre.
Yeah.
That's like it's not a terrible book, but nothing about it is really good.
Agreed. It wasn't
You know?
special. It didn't say I can't remember anyone's names.
No, no.
Vaguely.
Yeah. I didn't remember much about it, honestly. I had to go back and like flip through it and look at my Goodreads review, and I didn't read it that long ago.
Yeah.
It didn't leave much of an impression.
It didn't. It's supposed to be adult.
Yes.
And I didn't get that.
No. It reads like YA.
Definitely.
Very much reads like YA, which I wasn't expecting. I was definitely expecting something more dark and
Mhm.
assassiny, and I was like, "Oh, this is not like I've read YA darker than this."
Right. Like I've read YA that was more violent than this.
Oh
Or
yeah. Yeah.
darker and had, better character development.
Yeah.
But I think, in defense of it, I think if
Mhm.
somebody has not read as much like fantasy as like you or I,
Yeah.
they might enjoy this more. If
Yeah.
they are younger and transitioning into adult fantasy or have never really read any fantasy, I think,
It's quick.
yeah,
Yeah, like it's an easy read.
definitely easy, definitely
It's
quick.
yeah, like it's quick to get through. It could be fun if you don't care about, I mean,
Plots and characters
plot
and
characters and
world building
info dumpy world building and a bad romantic plot. I don't
and the
know.
magic.
And oh god. I
I
yeah.
still don't understand
Yeah. It's
the
interesting. I went and looked at this author. I feel like she mostly had written romance, which I can
oh that
see, except that like the romance also isn't
the greatest.
isn't great. And I was like, I don't know. It's also kind of like teasy because they like start kissing and then he's like, no,
No, I
we
can't.
can't. I
Yeah,
cannot. I'll want too much from this. And I'm like, really?
right?
Okay.
I'm like, that was wrong.
Like, wow. We
That's
took
what made
like
it
you
feel
took us this long to get there and then that's what we get. Like,
good. And that I think made it feel more YA because it was
yes.
like very teen angst when these characters are supposed to be almost 30.
Yeah. I'm like, in what world are you almost 30?
Right. I really
Yeah.
think it would have benefited from just being YA
Yeah.
and leaning into just being teens and being
Yeah. I 100% agree with you.
It was a quick read though. I know
It
Tara
was.
liked it. I say
Oh,
her
good.
name. Tara, you liked it more than I think both of us.
I'm glad. I mean, a lot of people
Yeah,
did like it.
I know it had some pretty high
I'm
ratings.
surprised.
Ooh.
Honestly, I'm surprised at how positive the reviews are. I just,
I mean, it
but
had
you
a
know,
lot.
people like what they like.
That's true. And it is fun and easy
Yeah,
and quick and it doesn't take a lot of brain power.
right. That's true.
So I know I've read quite a few things this month that like took all my brain power and I'm like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. I mean, and I also think if you're a reader who wants like political assassin vibes without it ever being really dark,
Yeah.
this could be a good option. Like
I
if you
think
don't, if
so.
you're uncomfortable with like dark things or a lot of violence, I don't know. I mean, it is violent, kind of, but it's like
Yeah.
campy. It's like campy.
Yeah.
The violence, like I
I
don't know.
thought the bad guy, big bad, like the cousin,
Mhm.
she was just camp. Like
Oh
she
my
was
god. Like
over the
no
top
no
camp.
nuance. No
None.
nuance whatsoever. I'm like, "Oh, okay."
I
We're
was
like
like,
we're like season 1 of Buffy
yes,
villain.
that is a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Like, you are evil to be evil, and she's like, I just want to be bad.
I
Okay.
just want to be bad and kill all the people and take all the power, not for a good reason, just cuz. Like,
Just,
and
okay.
I've wanted to since I was a kid. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah.
There's so much that didn't make sense to me though. I think we're probably just gonna jump into spoilers because at
I
this
mean,
point,
yeah, I think
I'm pretty sure everyone has read it. If you have not read this, we're gonna spoil it, which probably wouldn't be too terrible for you. Let's be honest. We might be more entertaining than reading it.
possibly.
I just this whole time I was expecting like the conflict between what's her name? Evie and her cousin, like how
Mhm.
she betrayed me as a kid and this and that. I
Yeah.
thought it was gonna be so much worse
Yeah.
than like she was mean and slammed a door in my face one time.
Yeah. Like she started leaving me out of her stuff, like didn't
Yeah.
invite me to play with her friends anymore. I'm like, "Oh no."
Like, look, my
Not
cousins were meaner than that when I was growing up, and we still talk. Like,
Well, it's also I also just felt like it was so predictable. Like you knew
yeah.
exactly what was going to happen from very quickly. Like it
Oh yeah.
I was just kind of like, "Okay, when are we going to get there?"
Right. And I thought at some point I thought there was gonna be some sort of like surprise. And there wasn't.
No. No,
Like,
nothing.
especially at the end when we had like the big party and they're like, it's a trap for us too. It's a trap for us too. But like
Right, but it
where
wasn't
was the
really. Like where was the trap?
where was the trap? It would have been so much more interesting if they would have like fallen into the
Yeah.
trap and like, maybe
Well,
some of the good guys died. Like
yeah. Well, and she was also very much the like not like other girls and like very
mhm.
everything happening to work out for her
Yeah.
in these
Lots of
very
plot
very
convenience.
very conveniently.
Very like she can do that dance. She can bake some pies.
Right. It's like, yeah, she had to learn this really weird, complicated dance that she never ended up having to do in court, but it's what saves her life later in the plot.
Later
You,
on.
who knew it mattered?
Right? And it's like, well, at least she set that up. Like,
Yeah,
props to the author for at least some attempt at foreshadowing.
yeah,
I think that's what that was.
I think so.
That
Yes.
was hit you over the head foreshadowing.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. And then the romance was just
Oh,
not.
the romance was horrible.
It was terrible, and I didn't care. I was like, why do you like each other?
Yeah, I
Though
didn't get it.
I don't.
I liked his name because that was Sullivan's my maiden name, and I used
Okay.
to go by Sully. Like it was a nickname
Oh.
of mine as a kid, and I'm like,
Okay.
it's like the only thing that I appreciate about this guy.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I just.
And the whole he was like, well, we can't be together because if you're gonna be the
Oh my
queen,
gosh.
you need better than a bastard son. I'm like, at that point, she's the queen. Can't she do whatever she wants?
Right? And he's like, and well, and he's like, we can't do this because then I'll want too much, and I can't be with you. I cannot be like in that position again. I'm like, okay,
Like, okay, have you been in that position before though?
okay.
Like, I'm so confused. Like, I
Well,
think
and also, like, didn't you know that this was like gonna be a thing?
right.
I don't
It was
know.
so weird.
It was weird.
It felt very teen angsty,
Yes,
but they
it
were
did.
like almost 30.
But they're almost 30.
Because I'm pretty sure it said at one point that she's like 28, and I was like,
Yeah,
wait,
it was something. I know, it was
she's
something
like
like that.
7.
She feels like she's 17.
She should have been 7.
But
So
she can
maybe,
bake a good apple pie.
yeah. I mean, I really want the recipe for that apple cranberry orange pie, though. Like, that was like the one thing I think that stood out to me the most is that pie.
And she knew how to put just the right amount of orange zest.
The orange-
Not too much, just 3 taps.
Right. And you're like, and of course, the baker, the actual anybody she's associated with dies at the very beginning. Just like, oh, this matronly cook baker that took care of me dead. And then we never find out. I guess, you know, there are more books in the series, but it's like we never find out a lot of answers.
No.
It's weird. Like her parents dying. Like, okay, her parents were murdered.
But who were her parents really? But you have to read on in the
Yeah.
series. But I'm like, this wasn't interesting enough for me to want to read on in the series to find
Right.
out. Like, I don't feel like this gave me enough to
want to know.
Like,
I kind of want, it's like, okay, I wish we'd have answered some of those questions. Like, who were her parents? What's this whole deal with the rhyme and the Winter Queen? Like,
it felt like there was a lot of filler. Like she planned for this to be a series, but didn't actually have enough content to make it a series. Yeah. So like maybe if this had been a standalone or a duology and she'd actually like taken all that plot and
condensed it,
it would have been better, but I don't.
And I think that the 6 months was too short.
Yeah.
Because it felt like she was like really terrible at like couldn't even lift a sword, like so bad.
And then is suddenly amazing. I'm like that's
in 6 months. Like
okay.
I did like how they used dancing to like train for fighting.
Yeah, that was cool.
I liked that.
I liked that concept also. Yeah.
I think in concept that worked really well.
Yeah.
But it still should have taken her much more than 6 months to kill the literal best fighter in the kingdom, her cousin, who is like been training her whole life.
And her cousin is just like the ultimate mean girl.
Yeah, she is Regina George.
She's Regina George. Yeah, exactly. Regina George, but more murdery.
Perfect. I mean, does that make what's her face? What was her name? Evie? Evelyn? I think
something like that. What was it? Everly.
Everly.
Yeah. Evie. Yeah. She does go by Evie. Yeah.
She was
yeah. And Tara, I see what you're saying. Like I agree. Sometimes you do want just like a mindless read. And you know what? Like I get that. And I can see how this would be appealing for that. I think I just go to different genres for that. Like this isn't what I would pick for that kind of read, but I can see how that would be that it could be that for other people.
I agree. Yeah. I typically don't, like you said, like stick with like like when I want a mindless read, I don't think like adult fantasy.
Yeah.
I'll like go pick up something that I know is like cozy and light on my brain.
Yeah. That's funny. Oh, Beth, this is hilarious. Sounds like a bad cozy mystery got run over by a teen angst romance in a fantasy truck.
Oh my God,
I mean, it's kind of accurate.
You know, like a CW show. It is.
Yeah. It is. It's very CW show. It is. I don't know why they made them almost 30. Like they feel like teenagers. They do. And I think maybe if we'd known that, like my expectation, like if this had been YA, my expectations would have probably going in been more appropriate to what the book is.
I think so. And I think that if we'd have maybe started with her young, like I know like she was young in the beginning, but if we'd have started with her like actually young and like the massacre happening when she was young, and then her spending years with this gladiator training, and I think that might have made pacing better because it's been like more believable.
Well, and then we could have gotten a fully fledged romance.
Yeah.
You know, like over years where they really get together, but then have to make difficult decisions. Like that would have actually been good and like compelling.
We could totally rewrite this.
We could rewrite this and we'll make it much better.
Like theory, the whole gladiator concept, I really like the whole black swan, like
Yeah.
imagery I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
And
It was
like
just
the battle to the death, like, and that we're not taking it, home, like we're leaving it there. Like you killed her, that's fine.
mhm.
Like that is what it is. Like I love that, like the whole culture of it, but we didn't get enough of
Yeah.
anything to care.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the ideas are interesting. It's just the execution. I think it was aggressively mediocre. It was just eh.
It was a
Yeah.
modern day CW show
Mhm.
where the characters were way too old.
Yeah. 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 It is not self-pubbed.
No,
Beth.
it's not.
No. It is from Harper Voyager.
Is it Harper?
It's
Yeah.
Harper Voyager. When did this come out, though? I know it's a little bit of an older book.
I don't know. Is it
2018. It's not that old. What? Oh my god. Okay. I was like, maybe this was like 2004. I'm like, no. 2018. Okay. Never mind.
Yeah, because the last one was like in, like, I think book 3 I recently saw in Barnes and Noble, and usually
Oof.
they only keep like pretty new ones.
Yikes. I feel like Harper Voyager is very they're hit or miss for me. Like they have some really good ones, and then they have some stuff that I'm like,
yeah.
So,
I agree.
Yeah.
But it could have been. I think that's what bothered me the most. As so many cool concepts, so many cool ideas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that was it. Maybe it was supposed to be YA and they were like, no, we need
and they didn't buy it and they made it. Yeah, I mean, who knows with publishing, it's like can be hard to know. I don't know. It just
can be.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's yes.
It felt like a rough draft.
Yeah.
Like it needed another draft, another go in the editing and writing and feedback.
Yeah.
Because I think if it would have had one thing that would have been done extremely well, I would have continued on. Like even like, bad world building, whatever. If I'd have really loved the romance and been involved, I'd have continued on.
Yeah.
It was like the romance was like whatever, but it had really cool like magic system developed in world building.
Or like the politics were really good. Yeah, but there was like there's got to be something that like keeps you reading, and this just didn't have anything that I was
like. I finished it in a day, which is a lot for me. I normally don't even read that fast. I finished it in like a day, and I was like, okay, and yeah, I mean, I did too. I finished it in about a day. I think I finished it in about a day too. Yeah. Like it's a very easy, quick read. But then I was like, that's it. Yeah, like, okay. Well, I kind of blamed it on I was reading at the same time as I was reading Oathbringer. Oh, so like very different. I can't. You cannot even compare. Well, maybe I was like, maybe that's my problem. As I'm reading it at the same time as I'm trying to read Oathbringer, like. I mean, I didn't do that, and I liked it less than you did. So that is true. Maybe it was just because it was my brain break from reading Oathbringer. Maybe. So I was like, all right, I need to decompress. Oh man. Yeah. I don't like. I'm trying to think. Like, do I even have anything else to say about this book? I think if we like, really loved it, like, or hated it, like, I didn't even hate it. No, I didn't. And I would be like, I would tell certain people to go read it. Yeah. I mean, I could see some people liking it. Give it to like my 16-year-old niece. Because there's a lot of books that I pass down to like my nieces. Yes. And they're like 16, 17 years old. And it's like, I think you would like this because I feel like it's too young for me. But I think this, no, exactly. Like this would be good for some teenagers who want to read some like barely edgy fantasy. Yeah. Like, yeah. The fact that I'm like, I could give this to my, 16-year-old niece because it's not too violent, but it's not too sexy. And it's Yep. I mean, but I agree. I mean, that's kind of how I feel about it. I'm like, they should just like rebrand it and give it to the teenagers. Yeah. Rebrand it, direct the ages. It'd be fantastic. Yeah. And you know what? Like Tara said, it was fun. It was a fun, quick read. Yeah. But it's also fun to rant sometimes.
I don't.
Honestly, a lot of times Bethany and I disagree on a lot of stuff.
That's
Like, we have
true.
some pretty different opinions on some.
That is true.
as well, so
Yeah, but this one,
I know.
like, we were both kind of like, yeah.
I think also, I have too much stuff on my shelves that I want to get to that I know I'm gonna love to prioritize something that I know is gonna be aggressively mediocre.
Yeah. I if it wasn't for book club, I maybe would have DNF'd it.
Yeah.
It's one of those books where like I didn't care that much. Okay,
Yeah.
she does write some YA. Interesting.
Yeah. I don't think I would have DNF'd it just because I was reading it so fast at that point. I was like,
yeah,
whatever.
I mean that's true.
But I was like, okay, whatever.
I would have considered it though, just because like I think I'm like often most likely to DNF a book if I just am like not having strong feelings about something.
Oh, same. And I'm usually pretty ruthless with DNFing, especially lately. I have been 50 pages. I'm not loving it. I'm kind of bored. I'm not feeling it. Gone.
Wow.
Like, I've
mean,
DNF'd quite a bit recently.
That's great.
Because I'm just like, I don't have enough time in my day.
I know. Well, I'm never going to get to all the books I want to read.
No,
it's
not
just not. And I read more than most people do. And I still, my God.
3 times as much as I do.
I know. I read like 400 books last year. And like,
that's amazing.
It's crazy, but
I think I read like 2 books in December, but one was Oathbringer. So like that counts as multiples to me.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah. Like, that should count at least as 3 books at 1,200 pages.
I think that's the thing is like when you get to a point where you have this many books you want to read, like if it's just okay, I'm like, oh, why am I reading this?
Yeah, if it's just okay, I've been DNFing. Like I've DNF'd a lot of YA lately though. And then they're not bad, but like I'm 32. So most of them not for me. And then
I've been reading less and less YA. Like there are some standouts, but I'm getting a lot pickier about it. Yeah.
And then I just
and The Blade itself is much better than this.
The Blade itself. Yeah. I still need to read that actually. I have it on.
It's really good. So I just did a reread in December because we're doing a read along from the podcast in 2022.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I've got to say I enjoyed it a lot better rereading it after having read the first trilogy because I don't think like the pacing and stuff isn't great for a first time. Like it's kind of slow and there's a lot of stuff where you're like, this is boring. Like why does this matter? But now that I know what happens and I know the characters, like going back and reading it again, I'm like, you were telling us all these things and we didn't even know. So it was fun.
That's great. I love when a book does that on reread though. Yeah. Like I feel like we've gotten off on a tangent, but
there's not that much to say.
There's not. I reread the Mistborn series this year. And rereading it, knowing that I've read the whole thing and I know what happens is like, just like little things that stuck out the first time. See,
I think that's fun.
Tara?
That's great, Tara. That's really great.
Oh,
good. I'm glad you're liking it, Beth. I think I liked it the first time. I just didn't. I'm just liking it a lot more.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah. So like because like halfway through the book, he adds a new perspective. And the first time I was like, who is this person? I don't care. Why are you adding their perspective? But now I'm like, I missed all these interesting things about this person that I now know why it matters. So yeah.
See, that's awesome. I have the first book and I've been meaning to get to it. This is the year I will get to it, I think.
If you read with us, you can join the discussions. We're gonna have an episode at the end of January. So it'll be fun. So we're doing the first trilogy, January, February, March, and then taking a month off. And then we're gonna do the whole first law in 2022. So
nice.
Be fun.
I know. I'm trying to finish Rhythm of War before the 16th because I have a live show because we've done the entire Cosmere.
Oh wow!
We did the entire Cosmere.
That's a lot.
I'm behind. I haven't even started Rhythm of War yet. I'm like, I have 16 days to finish this.
Oh my gosh, that's intense.
Probably
I'm in no hurry. I'm like, I have a while before all those books come out.
Yeah. I think if I wouldn't have been doing it with a readathon, like with a bunch of friends, I would have read it slower.
Yeah.
But
Tara, have you thought about getting a Brooklyn library card for their audiobooks and stuff? Because you can get one out of state. I want to say it's like $50 for the year or something like that.
Oh.
So just a thought.
I didn't know you could do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because I know my local library, I live in like a smaller town in Central Florida, had like terrible like ebooks and audiobooks. And I had to actually drive to like the next county over.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
To get a decent library card.
Yeah.
Like I had to drive, but granted, I had to drive to like Gainesville, which is like big college town.
Mm-hmm.
Like thankfully it wasn't that far.
Yeah.
That is
it's not too bad. Yeah.
Not bad at all.
No. Yeah. It's kind of cool that they offer that as for like digital, like the digital library stuff.
Yeah.
And they have a really good, like good selection.
That's good. I think ours probably like that was before COVID, like they made you come in person. I was like super frustrated because I was like, I don't want to drive, an hour to go to a library just to like get a card when I already have a card for my own county.
Yeah.
But if they let you do it online,
yeah,
for it.
Libraries are great.
Agreed.
I love it.
I take my kid all the time, let her pick stuff out. Like,
yeah, that's awesome.
Well, this has been fun. I don't know. This has barely been the shortest. Because at least when we did, what was the other? Oh my God. I have had divisive books.
Have you?
I've hosted. So Rage of Dragons was.
Oh, that is a very divisive book. Yes. I liked it pretty well.
I liked it more than like Jessie. I again gave it 3 stars and don't really care to read the rest of the series.
I gave it 4 and I'm interested in trying the next book, but like I didn't I had problems with it, but I liked it. I mean, I had fun with it.
I might at some point still read book 2. Like it's not like this one where I'm like, I really don't care.
No, yeah.
I might still read it, but I'm not gonna buy it. I'm gonna library it.
That's fair. Yeah.
But I'm like, I barely pick.
Have you tried? I mean, it sounded good.
We did try. It did sound good, and it had some great ideas.
It did. It's got a good cover. I mean, this looks like it's gonna be dark and sexy.
It does.
And it's not. It's neither of those things.
Yeah, you didn't like Rage of Dragons, Sarah. At all.
That's a very polarizing one.
So many people did not like it.
Yeah.
I didn't care either way. That was
I
fell in the straight middle of it. But yeah, this does look like a dark and sexy book, and
it is not.
I did not get dark or sexy.
No.
Out of that.
No, not at all. Oh well, we tried.
Oh well.
But
I would say it might get better, but I Wikipedia the next 2 books and still don't remember what happened. Like it was that like I'm gonna just see if it sounds like it gets better, but it sounds like it gets weirder. Like they go to like the other kingdom.
Oh,
where what's his face, the bad love interest is from, and have to save a prince there.
Okay.
Along those lines.
Sure.
It's real weird. And then apparently in book 3, like none of the side characters are as present as they were in book 1. And it's like a whole new, I just started reading weird reviews for it.
Interesting. Yeah, no. I'm gonna pass. I'll pass. But thank you for asking me to co-host.
I know it was fun.
It was, yeah.
It got a book off my shelf that I can now unhaul.
Same.
Make room for
more
books because I have limited space.
Likewise. Yeah, I just did like a big reorganization today. I cleared out my favorites shelf, fresh space for a new year. It's always weird when it's like completely empty when the year starts, but
it's okay. I got piles, as you can see in the back. There's just piles. Like
it's all right. It's all right.
Start.
Yeah.
It
It's a
was
challenge. I feel like I'm always buying new bookshelves too. I'm like, what am I gonna do? Because like have like so many books.
I know. We're running out of space, and we're actually gonna we're gonna this year remodel our house. So we're
Ugh.
adding on. We have this like weird second like formal living room that like nobody actually uses as a formal living
Oh,
room. So we're gonna wall it in and make it into a bonus room. So we're gonna move all the office stuff in there,
oh, nice.
and then each kid can have their own bedroom because right now they share because we've only got a 3 bedroom, and like I work from home mostly, so I need an
Yeah,
office.
yeah,
And I'm like, all right, well, they're starting to get older and they're boy girls. So like at some point
yeah,
they're gonna want their
yeah,
own space.
yeah.
But then
We
I'm like,
have,
man, it's gonna
I
be
know.
smaller. Although like the office
Well,
itself.
well, see, like we're in a 2 bedroom apartment in New York because we're in New
Oh
York
yeah.
City. And like my office space is in a corner of our
Yeah.
master bedroom. Like we have a pretty large master bedroom, but I'm like, I have like a corner of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My husband told me if I bought another bookshelf, he's not putting it together for me. He's like, I'm tired, I'm sick of it, I'm not doing it.
Oh,
I'm like,
I put everything together.
I
I do
try,
it
and
myself.
then some of them I can, but like I bought one for some reason, those cube bookshelf. I have like a cube one, and it did
Uh-huh.
not want to go together. And I was at the point of like throwing it in the yard because
Oh
I was like,
no.
why isn't this working? And it was cheap. It's like one of those cheap, not
You know
like
what? Investing in a good bookshelf is
it's
worth
worth
it.
it.
It is in the long run. It'll last
'Cause
longer.
I have like a really nice, like heavy, solid, like wood ones.
Yeah.
Those are easier to put together, and they feel like they're going to not fall apart.
Yep.
And my like chintzy cube shelf I bought
Yeah.
from Walmart.
Yep.
But the IKEA shelves are good.
Yeah.
Like they're pretty decent for their price range.
Yeah.
I like those.
Yeah.
Except for you have to go to IKEA.
Yeah.
And
We don't even like have a car,
yeah,
so that's
going it just like and we don't have one close. We have to drive like an hour and a half to get to one.
oof.
And like I was like, oh whatever, like I just order everything online anyway. That freight shipping makes whatever you're ordering cost more than the product itself.
No.
I'm like, Amazon Prime. Like
Yeah. Well, this isn't going to be helpful for you at all, but there's a website that runs, I think they're now in New York, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C., called Apartment Deco. And
oh,
it's like Craigslist for furniture where you can pay them to deliver it to you. And they check to make sure that it like is at the quality level that they say it is when they sell it.
that's good.
It's great.
I love that.
Yeah. So we've used that several times to buy
Yeah,
furniture. Yeah.
I'm sure, especially like in a city like that, because like I'm in
Yeah.
a really like pretty rural, spread out area.
Hmm.
But like especially in like a big city like New York, that would be so nice.
It's great. Well, and because they deliver it, because normally, like if we buy something, we'd have to then pay a delivery service, which is exorbitantly expensive
Mm,
here. And so
yeah.
it's like, yeah,
Yes, I take for granted like just like throwing it in my truck, like
yeah,
and going.
nope, that's not, yep.
It's like we can go and just like because I have like a Yukon. And my
Hmm.
husband has like a little truck that he uses for work.
Okay.
So like you can just throw stuff in the bed.
Yeah.
3 bookshelves. Yeah, I have bookshelves in my living
8.
room.
Wow.
That's a lot. How many do
That
I
is a
have?
lot.
1, 2,
I don't know how many I have.
4, 5. I have 5 in here and 2 in the living room.
I have 4 in the living room. This one, I have kind of one in here, but I mostly just use it to store my TBR and
Yeah.
read books and like to be hauled books. So it's not really a bookshelf. It's more like a holding space for videos. And then I have a tiny one in my closet that I have paperbacks on, like mass market, like some of my not romance. Oh, and I guess I have one other one too for my romance stuff. Yep.
Oh, I have one in my kids' room too. No, 2. We have 2 in the kids' room.
Oh, my kids have one. It's really full.
Yeah.
They're gonna need a new one.
That's why I just got the second one. Because with my daughter starting to read like actual middle grade books now, it's like, because I have a
Yeah.
bunch of middle grade on my shelves. I'm like, should I move them into her room? Or
Yeah.
like, because I read them too. So I'm like, should I keep them or move them? I'm thinking about moving them into the living room so they're in more of a like.
I have all my middle grade on the same, like on shelves in the living room next to the TV. So like they have access to those,
Yeah.
but they're like double stacked. At some point I just need to get
Yeah.
like a shelf for, yeah. Yep.
I need to do a purge.
I do them regularly.
I do. I try to.
Like I just did one when I reorganized my shelves today and like pulled out like some stuff, but yeah.
I have
It's
one. I
hard.
did one right before Christmas and gave a bunch of books to my niece. So that was nice. I
That's
was like,
cool.
here, it's your Christmas present. Take whichever ones you want. You know, like you don't have to take all of them. She took like all but one.
That's great.
I'm like, cool.
Yeah,
That's for me.
I need to like take a big bunch to my indie bookstore to sell for store credit. That's what I do with mine.
That's what I do with the ones that she
So I can buy more books.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's balance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was it my husband always says? I always mess with him because he's like big into cars and stuff. So it's always car parts and car stuff. And I'm like, you know, talking about spending money on stuff. And he's like, well, it could be drugs. I'm like, you know what? You're right. It could be drugs. It's car parts.
Sure.
So that's what I tell him now when I get a box of books. I'm like, could be drugs. He's like, I'm like, I stole that from you and your father. Who
I mean, it's true.
It's true.
Yeah, it's funny. You know, as much as I have a really large like physical TBR, I actually have brought, and I have large book hauls, but I've actually brought in fewer books than I've read or unhauled.
Oh,
like my physical TBR right now is a little, not a lot, not as much smaller as I wanted it to be, but it is smaller than it was at the beginning of the year by like 40 books.
Okay.
So, you know.
You read a lot. You read
a
a lot.
I read a lot. I do. But I need to stop requesting books so that I can more read down my physical TBR.
Right. Well, I'm like, I need to stay off NetGalley because I can't like, oh, that looks good and that looks good and that looks good. And I'm like, oh, and I need some ebooks to read for when I'm out and like I'm going back to work and like when I take the kids to sports and stuff, I need an ebook to bring with me. So I'll just request from NetGalley.
See, I'm finding I don't like reading ebooks very much, and so I'm significantly dropping. Like, I know a lot of people like reading that way, but I just don't, and so I'm not requesting. Yeah, I'm only requesting like short books and audio books.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now I can't read super long books. Like, I think if I would have tried to read like the Stormlight Archives book, I would have lost it.
No,
I can't see where I'm at, and I like to see that progress.
I don't like it either. Yeah,
but I do like it for traveling. Not that I've been doing much of that.
Yeah, same.
We did go to Indiana in December, so that was nice. And I took Kindle with me.
Because you guys got to go by yourselves. That's the thing, though, is it's like I have to be traveling without children. Because if you're traveling with children, then
that's not even traveling. That's just parenting in a new place. That's not a vacation at that point.
No, not at all.
I love doing it. I love taking my kids places, like to experience things, but it's hardly a vacation for mom.
No. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, that would work.
Yeah,
I've done that before. Yeah.
I'm terrible with audiobooks.
No.
I have to keep going back over and over and over and over again to like fully absorb it.
That's hard.
But my daughter, I was telling you earlier, we got her dyslexia diagnosis last year. Yeah. Ebooks or audiobooks for her are everything. Like, she can hear something one time and fully remember it.
That's great. Yeah, I love audiobooks, but it is just like how your brain works, like if it works for you or not.
It is totally a personal thing. I wish it worked for me because then I can listen while I work and get so much more time.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of how I read as much as I do. Like half of my reading is audiobooks. So, I mean,
I'm not giving up though. I'm going to keep trying until I find. I think it's just like high epic fantasy, doesn't it?
That's hard.
That's hard on audio.
Yeah, those are harder unless it's a reread.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can do it, but I like to have a physical copy to read along with when it's in big world building chunks or whatever.
Yeah. Someone told me the Kings of the Wild audio book because it has a lot of the music mixed in with it.
Oh,
and I've read the book already, so I'm like, okay, reread, and so I think I'm gonna try Kings of the Wild.
Yeah. I also think like there are some really good narrative. Okay, actually, the Joe Abbott, like the first law books on audio are so good.
I've heard that.
They're really good. People. Yeah. So Stephen Pacey does the narrating but he's really, really good. He does voices for the characters that feel like this is that character. Like he's very good.
I love that.
Yeah.
I have to check those out and do it like at the same time.
Like at the same time, yeah.
If I'm doing them together, I really like the audio. If I am like listening and reading at the same time.
Yeah, I like that too. But yeah, no, the Joe Abercrombie stuff is really good on audio. So
I will have to try that when I go to read it, hopefully soon.
It's fun.
Yeah, I've heard that the audiobooks are really, really good. And I mean, the books themselves are amazing. I love them.
I haven't read those ones. They're like
you have to go in with the expectation of they're just fun, and comical, and they don't take themselves seriously. So don't take them seriously. Like it's a lot of classic rock references. Like it's a lot of Led Zeppelin. Like if you don't listen to that kind of music, like my whole family like listens to a lot of like AC/DC and Led Zeppelin and like those kind of bands. And there are a lot of those references, like Young and Elvis, and I think there are some Beatles references in there somewhere. Like it was a lot. And then Bloody Rose jumps into the 80s with its music references.
Oh my gosh.
The third book, when it comes out, I think it's supposed to be the 90s era of music references.
Interesting.
So it is not for everybody.
No, yeah, I can see that. That's so funny. Oh my gosh. We didn't. No, not really.
Aggressively average.
Aggressively mediocre. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was I, but I wouldn't read the rest of it.
No.
I rather remember these. Yeah. But you know what? Not every book is for everybody. So that's
it's all right. There are a lot of people who seem to like it, but it wasn't for us.
Those are my music days. Yeah.
Well, Beth, maybe you should try them.
I highly recommend if you like that music. If you like 70s classic rock, Kings of the Wild. If not, I don't recommend it.
I don't particularly, so I will probably not read it. But
if you haven't seen have you seen This Is Spinal Tap? The documentary.
I had no interest. Like I just like
it is. This Is Spinal Tap only with like fantasy characters. Like
okay,
don't read it, Bethany.
I'm not going. No, I won't. It doesn't sound like my my book.
Nice though.
I'm sure.
Those are I have like
if it started with like 90s pop,
that
I could do.
I know. It's a lot of apparently the 90s one. He hasn't written it all, but it's like 90s. I think it's like in like 90s hip hop. So like 90s hip hop and grunge.
Oh, interesting. I could do that.
It's going to be more angry.
Okay. Or I could do like 90s emo punk. That
Yeah.
would be my thing also from high school. That was very
Right?
much my vibe. Like I could do that.
Panorama, like I could go with that.
Good Charlotte and like
I mean, I'm down. I'm down for some emo.
yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, there was a lot of Dungeons and
Okay.
Dragons
Yeah.
references
Yeah.
too.
I am down with campy books that have pop culture references. They just have to be ones that I actually like know.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like not like those are like really specific qualifiers
yeah.
for reading
Yeah.
the band series. It's like, do
Yeah.
you like classic rock? And do
Right.
you like
Right. Yeah.
and no, do not read. The amount of people I've told, do not read this.
Do
You
not
will
read
not like it as much as I like it, but I like that music. Like,
I get that. I get that. That's so funny.
no wait, what?
Mhm.
NWO
Nope.
New World Order? New Kids on the Block?
I have no idea what this means.
No, me either. But I feel like I should at some point. But Google's my friend.
Google is.
A new wave of British heavy metal.
Oh.
Oh. Okay, so I know the okay, so like Iron Maiden, Def Leppard. Okay, so I know them. I know those bands. I listen to a lot of metal still. To the like, I listen to a lot of like
Really
metal now. Yeah,
interesting.
it's
don't.
not something people would expect from me. I have a very eclectic music taste. Like getting in my car and like listening to a playlist. Like we could be listening to like old country from like the 70s or NSYNC or like it's the gambit. I've yet to really find something I don't like.
Yeah, I don't.
Arena.
I
Yeah,
don't actually
I've never heard it called that.
like. I don't actually even listen to that much music because I just listen to audiobooks a lot.
Yeah.
But like, I listened several times to Lil Nas X's album because I really like
that album is amazing.
It's so good. It's so
It's
good.
amazing.
He's so smart and talented. That was really good.
I
mean, I do listen to like to some, but it's not that much. So yeah. That's funny.
That is funny. I'm like,
This is the thing. This is how, okay, because like people are like, how can you possibly read 400 books in a year? And I'm like, okay, look, I watch like 2 hours of TV a week. I don't really listen to music. Like I pretty much read. Like that's what I spend a lot of my time doing. So
but if that's your form of entertainment, like I bounce back and forth. Like sometimes I want to spend the whole night playing video games. So like,
which is fair. And part of why I read fewer pages in December is because we got Animal Crossing and my kids and us and have all been playing it.
Yes, we did too. We got it. My kids got it for Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah.
My kids got it for Christmas.
Although the kids have been playing it a lot. Like they'll wake up early and we'll be like, yeah, sure, fine, go play.
I'm at the point of like, you want to play with the tablet and the please do.
If I can sleep for another hour, sure.
Like I've been working from home, so like I kind of feel bad because I'm like, I know they're kind of bored on their break from school, but I've got to pay some bills. I'm like, so here's the tablet, or here's your, here, play on your Switch together.
I mean,
and then they're like, can we go outside?
Oh, I make them go outside a lot. Well, okay, my youngest always wants to go outside and they'll just like never does. He's happy once he's out there, but he's like, I just want to stay home and like play video games. I'm like, no, you need you need some fresh air and to move your body. You cannot.
My oldest always wants to go outside and my youngest is like, I just want to stay inside and play video games. I'm like, I bought you a freaking basketball hoop for Christmas and get outside. And we don't have to drive it. They just have to walk out the door.
Oh,
like because we have a pretty decently sized. Yeah. It's not massive, but like we have enough yard that they can get out and play, and the dog can run around, and we have a trampoline and
I mean, we have there's a playground in our apartment complex, so like it's it's not far.
Not like
yeah. So,
it's downstairs.
Yeah, it's downstairs and out the door. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. But no, I'm like, you guys, yeah, we definitely, my older one is the indoor child. It's like, I want to like watch videos and play games and play chess and read books and not go outside. And I'm like, no, you need to go outside.
Yeah, that's my
And the little one, it's like, anytime I leave the house, can I come with you? I'm like, okay.
That's my daughter. Like, I'm always finding her in a tree or like, get down. You are going to fall.
Yeah.
Broken legs are expensive. Like,
Yeah.
up there. It's like I want to encourage it, but I also
Oh my
don't want
gosh.
that emergency room though.
No. And also, I'm like, I don't want you in the emergency room during a pandemic.
Yeah. Don't want you in there at all. It's gross.
Yeah.
Even before COVID, I didn't want to go there because, like, I know you know you're gonna get sick.
Well, also, even if it's for nothing, you're always there for like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah,
It's never quick.
$400 or $500 at
Yeah.
for like a band.
I mean, thankfully, our insurance is not that bad. Like, usually
Yeah.
it's like $100 or something if they don't do major tests or anything. But still, it's like you're half your day.
Yeah, it's forever.
So if we can avoid it,
Right?
that's good.
I mean, hey, you're outside. It counts.
It counts. There you go.
counts.
That's funny.
I used to always
Yep.
bring a book with me most places, though, as a kid.
Yeah.
So I was an only child. Like
I
had
was
older
not,
brothers and sisters, but they're all like so much old. They're all step brothers and sisters, but they're
Oh,
also
yeah.
all so much older that none of them lived at the house at the same time as me.
Mm.
Like,
See, I was like the oldest of 6, and we were all really close in age.
yeah.
But
I'm the youngest of, technically with all my step siblings, I'm the youngest of 7. But
wow.
like the youngest other than me is 10 years older than me.
Okay.
And
Yeah, there's like
15
8.5
and 17 years. Like
there's 8.5 years between me and my youngest brother. So
yeah. That's like mine are all like my oldest sister could technically be my mom, like age-wise, because she's like 17, 18 years older than me.
wow.
We're all super close now, which is funny.
That's cool.
Despite the age differences. But I grew up as getting the benefits of the only plus the baby. So
I don't know how people do it. Like it's like with 2, I'm like, we're done. Done.
My dad
Like,
keeps saying, like, when are you gonna have more? I'm like, sir.
No, more?
No,
No, that ship has sailed. I'm sorry.
No, we got 2. We got a girl. We got a boy. We're good. If we'd have had 2 girls, we'd have still been done. If we'd had 2 boys, we'd have still been done. We were done at 2.
Yes. Yes.
I asked him, I'm like, are you gonna finance them from conception to college? Because
are you gonna pay for a full-time nanny?
Yeah,
to help with the 3rd child?
Yeah, full-time nanny, and you have to pay for their school tuition and their daycare, and you know.
Yeah,
you
sure.
have to pay for school staff and the supplies,
oh my
summer
gosh.
camps, and like all the things.
The food.
I just bought groceries this morning, and already I'm like,
where does it all go? Like,
my son is the worst because like I just leave fruit out on the counter. Like, take it, I don't care, just whatever. Mm-hmm. An entire pint of like those cherry tomatoes gone in a day, and he is the only one that eats them. I'm like, sir.
Well, we buy like granola. I'll buy him like my oldest 2 boxes of granola bars a week, and sometimes like 3 days in, he's eaten them all, and I'm like, well, that's what there is until I go shopping next week. So sorry.
Oh, my daughter, she'll do that too. I'm like, did you eat that whole box of granola bars?
Well, and we'll find like wrappers littering the living room floor when we wake up, and I'm like, how many granola bars did you eat this morning?
I'm glad it's not just me, because I'm like, for what? I'm like, just put them in the garbage can.
Right?
Garbage can.
Oh my gosh.
This is
like, can you not? Or sometimes now he'll leave them in the snack drawer, because we have a drawer, and I'm like, why are we leaving empty wrappers in the drawer? Just put them in the trash can.
I like that. Don't have more children than you have hands. I agree.
Yes. Well, we had somebody tell us never get outnumbered.
Agree. I agree. I have a friend who has 3, and he says that.
Oh,
I'm like, look, you're the one that decided to have one more.
oh my
Like,
gosh. I mean, well, especially if you have like high energy children, which like we do. Even my like indoor one, like they're both very pretty, like
yeah.
It's
I have very
no.
high energy kids.
Yeah.
My one friend has like a real chill, like 5-year-old son, and I'm like, how do I get that? Because he's just like chill and behaved, and I'm like,
I mean,
stop.
you know what though? I look at them and I'm like, they are like us. You know? And so I'm like, I mean, it's
Yeah. Whenever my oldest is like really, really rubbing my nerves, she's almost 9. So like we're I can slowly see those teen and preteen years coming, and I'm terrified. And whenever I start to get like really mad, at, like something she's done, my husband will just stand there and laugh. And I'm like, what's so funny? Because like I'm mad. He's like, that is you. I'm like, you're not wrong. Like I can't, you're not wrong. Independence and curiosity, but I also would like you to not do certain things.
Well, I also like I try to keep the perspective of like, okay, some of these character traits might be a challenge to parent, but when they're adults, they will be beneficial. You know, it's like my kids have character traits that I'm like, this makes you challenging to parent, but I know the kind of person you're going to be like when you're an adult because I know people and it's going to be great.
Right.
When I'm not responsible for managing it.
Exactly. It's like my daughter's really curious. She will question everything. And I always said I would never be the because I said so parent, but oh my God, some days I just want to be like, because I said so. That's why you have to clean your room. Like, I don't need an existential crisis of why you have to clean up something your brother dropped because it's on your side of the room. Like,
oh
this
God,
is going to make you a very good person one day when you're like questioning things. But oh my God, just clean up your room. Or like, yes, you have to do homework. Or like, I get it. Math is stupid, but we still have to do it. Like, she's like, well, why do I have to do it if I don't like it? Like, if I'm not, I'm like, you. She was like, but and then explaining to kids that they really will have a calculator all the time for the rest of their life and still have to learn that.
Okay, you know what I tell, this is what I tell my kids. I tell them, like, you have to do this so that you can get good grades and go to college and get a job that pays enough money for all of the bills that your parents currently pay for because we won't be paying for you. So if you would like to have a house and food and clothes and fun things to do, you need to do well in school so you can have a job. Like, I mean, like, that's what I tell them. And they're like, oh,
okay.
So like we talk about how much things cost. So they have some kind of a sense of like, oh, that's
right.
Yeah.
I try to do that with mine too. Cause like we went to the, like whenever they get like birthday money or Christmas money, like we went to the bookstore the other day and my daughter wanted to pick stuff out and she was like picking it out. And we're like, okay, well, how much does this cost? And she'd look at the price and we're like, okay, well, how much money do you have? Now we need to subtract that. So we're like making her do the math.
Yeah. That's good. I mean, you know,
and like,
well, and that's the thing.
Really worth it. And then it's like, I have to make you think, is what you're, this toy or whatever it is that you're picking out, is this something that you're going to still want to play with in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Or is this just like instant gratification right now?
Right. Yeah.
Like we have to think through these because I am bad about impulse shopping too. Like,
yeah.
And then I'm like, why did I buy this?
Yeah. I mean, it's good good prep for life. Yeah. Kids are a lot of work, but I do it. Like I talk about the stuff with them because I'm like, I don't know, because when they're like, why do I have to do this? I'm like, well, let me tell you the real world consequences. Or the same thing where they're like if they're fighting with each other, like, I don't like consequences. Why do you have to do that? And I was like, well, let me tell you, we give you consequences when they're small consequences so that you make good choices when you're a grown up. So you don't have big consequences like going to jail.
Always done to go to jail. Like my daughter was really like she started really being into like trying to play with makeup. But instead of asking, she would just like go in my bathroom and take it and like
Yeah.
it's obvious. I'm like, what did you do? Nothing, really. Like you've eyeshadow on your forehead. Like it's obvious. And so I stood her down and I'd be like, okay, for one, you ask some like, it's like you ask somebody. And like if I were to go and take something without asking, what do you think would happen to me as an adult?
Right.
I'm like, yep, I get her asking.
Yeah.
And very much like I'm like, okay, well, how would you feel if I went in your stuff and took it without asking? I'd be sad. I'm like, okay,
yeah. How do you think I feel? Yeah, yes. Well, because because empathy is learned. Like they have to like develop that skill, and you have to help them like think through. Okay, how would this make you feel? How do you think I feel right now? How do you think that person feels? Oh, like yeah.
And it's so hard to just not.
I know.
Get upset sometimes.
Yeah, it's like you try to be calm and like talk them through it and teach them. Yeah.
But then sometimes
you know what I finally did though, because this was an issue with my youngest, is for his birthday, I found a like allergy friendly like makeup company. They market themselves to like tweens, but it's like, like allergy friendly makeup that's anyway. So I was like, here, happy birthday. You can have your own. And now you can't use mine.
Yeah. That's what my daughter got a little like makeup kit for Christmas. And I'm like, this is yours.
Yeah. Well, and some of them are so terrible. Like he's also got a lot of allergies. So I did a ton of research. What were they called? It's like, I wonder if I can find it. I get like marketing emails from them. Petite and Pretty.
Oh,
it's like a little like they're anyway. So if you're ever looking for stuff, they have really cute little like sets, but like the makeup isn't super pigmented.
I like
which is nice. It's really cutesy, so it's good for like younger
little ones.
Yeah, but it's all like allergy friendly and like anyway.
She gets really sensitive, so I bought like just regular. I wouldn't buy the kids makeup. Like
no.
I was like, this is terrible. So I bought like an adult makeup, but it was like just lesser in price point.
Yeah, it's hard. Well, and like mine, because he's got like so many like allergies and stuff. I was like, and they're like nut free, because a lot of the like super good kid makeups use like almond oil and stuff, and I was like, okay, we can't do that. Here, I'm gonna. You know what? I'm just gonna put. Well, it won't let me in here, but I'm gonna put this in the private chat if you want to look at. Yeah, this is the.
Okay.
Anyway, if you're looking, I was.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Oh, they are cute.
They are cute, right? It's been good, and like the palettes come with their own little brush, and like so I did like a palette and a lip gloss, which is anyways.
I love that. It's so funny because my 5-year-old, my son, like gets in on all of it with her.
Yeah.
Like he's right there with her. And I'm like, well, Evan, like.
Yeah, I mean, my youngest, I wouldn't be shocked if it ends up being like having some kind of like a gender fluidity thing, and so we're like, okay, we're gonna support it and let you explore and be who you want to be, and all right.
That's both of my. I mean, both of mine are very much. Like my daughter, some days she's like super tomboy, and like she runs cross country and like does all the like she likes to work in the garage with my husband, like because he owns an auto shop, and like she's real into like the cars and stuff with him.
Yeah.
But then also she's like, I want to wear makeup, and my son will paint his nails, and like
let them be who they are, and
like they share a bedroom at this point. Like he plays with her dollhouse. Like
it's really not that big of a deal. But I also just think it's like you just like let them
be kids.
Support them exploring stuff, let them be kids, and they'll figure stuff out. It's just not, I don't know. Anyway.
I agree.
It's fine.
Kids are hard no matter what. So just let them have fun once in a while.
Yeah. I mean, it's good too. It's one of those things where it's like, I don't know. I feel like parenting is the hardest and most rewarding thing.
Yes.
It's great and awful. sometimes in the same day. Like,
Yes. Sometimes definitely in the same day.
But
Especially when they get hangry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
who are you? And who have you?
Oh.
Like, I have to like throw snacks to the kids when I pick them
Oh
up
my
from school.
gosh.
I'm like,
I always bring, I
yeah,
bring snacks with me because we
everywhere.
if we walk home, I'm like,
Yeah,
snacks?
snacks are ones like I'm not even asking you how your day was until I give you a snack because I know my oldest, especially, she's gonna get in the car and then she's gonna break. I'm like, how was your day? Break down crying for like no reason.
They're just tired. It's like they're tired and
Yeah.
hungry and,
And they have to
big
hold it
feelings.
in. They're good at school all day.
Yes.
And so this was something that took me a while to learn. Like
Yeah.
they hold it in. They hold in all those like big emotions
Yep.
all day. And they're because I'm like, man, the teachers say that they're so good. And then
I
they get
know.
home
And they get home and it's like,
they break.
which is also good too, because it's like it means they trust you,
Mhm.
like, to be a safe person when they're at their worst. So
Yeah.
it's like, it's hard, but good.
But good. Like it's their comfort. They're comfortable
Yeah.
enough that that's where they break. And
Yeah.
get all those big emotions out.
Yep. Yep. It's these bots.
I know. I'm like, go away.
I know. They've been on live streams a lot lately.
Yeah. I noticed that.
I love how this turned into like, let's talk about parenting
Parenting and all kinds of stuff. Well, there really wasn't much in that book.
No, there wasn't.
It was a weird one.
Yeah.
You know, we tried.
been
We
fun.
tried to keep
We
it on
tried.
topic for a little while. The first part of this, we talked
Mhm.
about the
Oh
Queen.
yeah. I mean, we hit like a solid 20 minutes at
Yeah.
least. It's good.
It's good. It's great. It's been fun either way.
It has. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Good.
I think we should probably call it. It's been about an hour.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Well, this was fun. Even if we
Yes.
didn't love the book, it was still fun.
It was. Hopefully it was fun for everybody.
I know, right? Listening to us like go off on
Yeah.
It's great, you know.
Yeah.
You never know what's gonna happen. And maybe I'll actually try to pick up First Law here soon.
Yeah.
Read it with y'all.
Do it. It'll be
have
fun.
it. I'm like,
Yeah, I think it's fun. I love how I'm doing like 2 big fantasy year-long read-alongs this year.
oh
So,
yeah.
because we're also doing all the Sword of Truth books.
That's a lot.
It is. They're really fun though. Like, they're so fun.
I'm trying to read all the Robin Hobb books, or at least start.
I want to do the second trilogy this year.
Yeah, I haven't done any of them. I picked up the whole the first trilogy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm ready.
Okay.
As soon as I finish freaking Rhythm of War.
Yes.
Then I'll be done. Will I be? Then I'll be fully done with the Cosmere. I had to think about it.
Wow. That's an achievement.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, you should be. That's good.
It was fun. It was a good time. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with us. Thank you, Bethany.
Yeah.
For playing.
Definitely.
And maybe I'll read First Law here with you soon.
Yay.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.